Hey, welcome to the Barbell Logic Beast Overburden live stream. It's our second live stream this year. Great to be here. Hello, Andrew.
Hey,
Hey,
how,
hey.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
It is very rainy right now.
It's
I'm
raining.
trying not to get seasonal affected, SADS, whatever.
Yeah.
But overall, good though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I did just get a lot of sun this week.
Yeah, we were just in Hawaii, in Kauai, and it was pretty perfect. Back in some rainy and dark fall weather now, but what are you gonna do? Gonna
We're going to do
lift.
a Q&A.
We're gonna lift and eat and sleep and lift and eat and sleep and work and do all the things that we always get back to. So we got a fun Q&A today. Wanted to kick things off with the topic of why we believe coaching is necessary for just the everyday person. For you, you don't have to be, gung ho for competing. You don't need to be signing up for a bodybuilding show or a powerlifting competition, but there is value in having someone help you along your way.
Mm, I would totally agree.
What comes to mind for you?
The interesting thing about coaching, especially right now, with the availability of programming through AI, infinite amount of information on the internet, uh, ability to do whatever program you want. There's unlimited access to information. It is still difficult to distill that down to something that's useful and practical for an individual. And I think a coach is helpful for having taste and a point of view that enables somebody to incorporate strength training in their life in a way that helps them move forward with their goals better than an individual can do on their own.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is very difficult sometimes to see with clear eyes, and to have the time and experience to be able to discern what the right next step is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a coach is useful and valuable for helping someone figure out what the right next steps might be.
Mm-hmm.
And it is an experiment. It's a process. It's iterative.
Yeah.
But the problem that I see with any program or any template or any approach is that, one, it needs to be customized to the individual, and two, the variables change constantly.
Mm-hmm.
This was something I actually learned the hard way when I tried to automate programming with this military contractor that we've been working on. At first, I was like, well, once a week is probably enough to, reflect on the program and change it. And very quickly we realized, no, you can barely get through one workout before there's a variable
Mm.
that needs to be changed.
Yeah, humans aren't just like, well, every Tuesday I'm going to change all the context and circumstances.
Exactly. I mean, and these are fairly consistent people, like
Yeah.
by my standards of consistency. And they're not asking for like major overhaul the challenge the program, but a workout might change by a day or
Mm-hmm.
2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Their shoulder starts bugging them.
Mm-hmm.
They got a terrible night of sleep. They're not eating. They got a new project at work. It's just constant change.
Mm-hmm.
And along with constant change is that sometimes it's also difficult to know with that change, is that the time to push through it? Is it the time to pull back? Is it time to make a modification?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so there's just a never ending source of value, I think, from a coach in helping to navigate those changes.
Yeah. Yeah. You were talking with the AI work you've been doing lately about always having to double check and potentially reframe the context.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're trying to do that for yourself, the amount of decisions and work you have to put into managing that is exhausting. and you stop having faith in the output
Right.
of, this program that maybe used
Which
AI to
is
help you.
90% of the effectiveness of a program.
Is believing in it.
If you got to have faith.
Yeah. So in addition to that, I was thinking that, you are the hero of this journey, of your journey through your whole life. You really are likely the main character. You're the one overcoming challenges, having to provide for other people, having to provide for yourself, wanting to be successful, wanting to feel confident and enjoy yourself. And even the heroes in the greatest stories we've ever read, they have a guide. They have someone that sees things differently, that is there to remind them of what the purpose is, help them see what the next steps are. And it's such a relief when you have someone to either hold you accountable or give you that dose of encouragement that you really need in the moment.
Even Gandalf.
Gandalf.
This little known fact, because most people have only watched the movies. But who did Gandalf go see at the end of the story?
At the end of the story?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've only watched the movies a million
Tom
times.
Bombadil.
Who's Tom Bombadil?
Well, you clearly haven't read the books.
I haven't.
This massive character that Peter Jackson left out.
I can't believe he left him out.
And
I would like an additional movie.
There's some theories out there that Tom Bombadil represents God. He's sort of got this carefree, he's above it all, and he's unaffected by the ring. He just plays with the ring.
Dang.
So, anyways, even Gandalf has
Gandalf.
somebody he goes to check in with after the quest is completed.
Well, before we get into our questions, please submit more. We'd love to get a couple more questions in. I think we'll have more time to answer them. And stick around till the end of the episode because we have a discount code for online coaching.
I think we should say hello to some of these live folks.
Hello, live folks.
Chip Farrell.
Oh, Farrell.
Chip Farrell.
Little Spence. Northern Illinois.
What's up?
Awesome. Wonderful. Okay. Let's start with this first one. I like this one. This one is coming in from Christopher. He says, "What's the best core exercise to help strengthen me as I get older?" The squat.
It's one of them.
The squat, the press, the deadlift. Even chin-ups have your abs involved. So the core, I know a lot of, like, when you first start getting into fitness or you do like a Google search, a lot of advice, and even if you have back pain, is like strengthen the core. And there's a lot going on in the core.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of muscles that support your trunk, and they run, in line with your spine. And then they also go like crossways, and they just like wrap around you. Think of your trunk as like 360 degrees of contraction. It's not just the visible ab muscles or your back muscles that allow you to arch your back. There's a lot going on in there. And the squat comes up for me first because you were putting yourself under compression, and you have to learn to respond to that compression with contracting pretty much all of your trunk muscles. And you do that by taking a breath, bracing, and then moving, putting yourself into moment, down and up. And so you're not just doing simple crunches that target one or two of those muscle groups, but you're really isometrically strengthening everything that wraps around your internal organs and your spine.
You've been doing some specific ab exercises though lately, haven't you?
The one I do the most is the cable ab crunch. I like that one because I can progressively overload it, and it's a good challenge. I have found that hanging ab exercises are either too tough on my shoulders or make my back feel bad. So that one works well because I'm not having to lift my legs, but rather I'm bringing my elbows towards my legs, and I like how intense it can be without having to do like 40 minutes of planks, which if I can not do that, I would prefer to not do those.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to go back to first principles and think about, just like we do with the main movements, what is it that we want to do for the targeted muscle group. So if you want to focus on abs, then we need to find something that trains that range of motion as much as possible. Ideally, something you can incrementally load
Mm-hmm.
and lift as much weight as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I agree with you that the cable crunches is useful for all those reasons. I think you could do. I mean, we've also talked about how you can do higher reps at lighter load,
Mm-hmm.
but you end up having to do a lot of them.
Yeah, and
So
I am like actively in my head apologizing to all my clients when I program them like
yeah,
bicycle crunches and
yeah,
plank knee to elbow touches and reverse crunches because like they can you end up being able to tolerate a lot.
hmm
And so I go for supersets and EMOMs and just try to increase the workload in that way.
planks are another one that I've seen some studies that you can get as much, at least measurable contraction as a squat
Wow.
with a plank, and those are loadable if you have
Mm-hmm.
a buddy to put some
Mm-hmm.
plates on your back. But those can be pretty good. Lots of gymnastics moves where you're
Oh
having to
yeah.
maintain
Hollow body
the hollow
position.
body position.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a little bit of outside of our barbell logic
Yeah.
wheelhouse, but those are all things you can experiment with.
And
See which one you enjoy.
thinking of that gymnastics focus, like with these ab exercises, even with something as simple as the plank, you have to really choose to activate this these muscles by the position you go into, by like squeezing your belly button into your spine, or thinking about tucking your rib cage, or trying to like wrap yourself into your stomach is how I imagine it. Because if you just like hang out in a plank and you let your stomach kind of sag towards the ground, or if you're doing a hollow body hold and you're not really trying to press your back into the floor underneath you, you're not getting all the juice that can be squeezed out of those movements.
I think the same is true for squat and a deadlift. You know, you say those are good movements to train it, and I think that's true. I don't know anybody who's deadlifting several hundred pounds that is weak in the
Yeah.
core.
Yeah.
But you do need to, I think, be intentional about bracing,
Learning what that
and
means, learning how to use your belt.
being intentional
Yeah.
to really get a good training stimulus from it.
Yeah. Speaking of feeding the core, I
Mm.
like this next question. I'll ask
Okay.
it to you.
Okay.
This one coming in from Jonas. What is a basic meal plan structure for a 49-year-old, 5'9", 338-pound, 39% body fat male? How many meals a day, basic meal prepping that loves sandwiches?
Well,
Sandwiches.
I would start with a breakfast sandwich and probably probably something with eggs. I like a 2 to 4 egg breakfast sandwich. 4 eggs gets a little unwieldy to put into a sandwich,
Mm-hmm.
but you can also do open face.
Yeah.
That might be a way to
Yeah.
do it
Mm-hmm.
with a couple of pieces of toast. Big picture, though, I would say you're probably going to want 3 sit-down meals and a snack. Some people consider the snack a fourth meal,
Mm-hmm.
but generally breaking up the total, all the calories into 4 sessions or meals,
Mhm.
whatever you want to call it.
Feedings.
So I'd go breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. It's typically how I like to think about it, just because it fits in most people's normal day-to-day workflow and social schedule, which I think is something you got to factor into. But so breakfast sandwich, if you're really into sandwiches, I'm just going to do all sandwiches. But breakfast sandwich, the customization would be I'd usually go with a bagel and for a guy that size, probably 3 or 4 eggs.
Could we count a burrito as a sandwich?
I mean, it's a kind of maybe a New Mexican sandwich,
Yeah.
breakfast burrito, it's a type of sandwich. But with all of the meals, I like to start first with your protein, and then your carbs, and then your fat. And as you're constructing it, look for ways to add color.
Yeah.
So
And I just want to throw this in as you continue to build your sandwiches.
yeah,
I think something that is wonderful about a sandwich is that it's simple and you get a lot of different textures.
exactly.
And so as you're listening to Andrew describe this, think of how like you're adding things with like maybe something cold with something hot, something crunchy, something that kind of complements that crunch.
Yeah. I mean, so along those lines, you've got your eggs. We've talked about the bagel. I would say the fat you're already well taken care of with the eggs, so I wouldn't add any more.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would start looking for other textures and colors, tomatoes, onions, maybe put some fruit, some blueberries on there. That gets you a little bit more carbs, a little bit more fiber.
You could mix in some Tabasco with Greek yogurt and spread that on your bread.
Definitely
It's
like
really good.
that is great for flavor
Yeah.
and a little bit more protein. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, also. Um, Now you're going
Onions.
into, we'll just call that breakfast sandwich. Then we're going to go to a lunch sandwich. I just had a sandwich for lunch, actually, myself. I personally like 2 pieces of bread, somewhere around 8 ounces of turkey breast,
Mm-hmm.
some spicy mustard,
Mm.
tomato. If you've got time to chop the onion, I like a little thin slice of onion.
Yeah. Or you could
Uh,
do pickled
and
onions
pickles.
once a week.
I think pickles are
Pickles,
crucial. You
yeah.
get a little
Mm-hmm.
acid in there,
Mm-hmm.
really changes the experience, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah.
And then cheese, optional. I like it, but if you're trying to lose weight, you might want to take that as an opportunity to pull some fat out. And then let's see, a lunch or a sandwich snack. I would just do half of my lunch sandwich probably.
So you just spread your lunch out.
I don't know what to do for the snack. I mean, I'd probably do a protein shake or a Core Power.
Yeah.
Talk about easy meal prep.
Yeah.
Probably just have a Core Power 42-gram
Mhm.
protein, or pick your 2 scoops of protein powder if you prefer
Mhm.
that.
And without you having to measure this, you're looking for the protein quantities to be about 2 to 3 palm sizes per sandwich.
I would agree.
Hmm.
And then a dinner sandwich. I would probably go with either steak or chicken. Meal prepping chicken has become one of my go-tos, by the way. Just buy the giant pack of chicken breast, whip up a little easy marinade, let it sit for a couple hours on Sunday. I like to take the chicken breast and cut it in half, like a butterfly. I think is technically
That fits really well on a
you're
sandwich.
supposed to do it.
Yeah.
That makes it cook faster, and it's also I think easier to use on a sandwich, or just portion sizes in general are easier because they're instead of being this like 2-inch thick massive chicken breasts, you get
Hmm.
twice as many slices out of it. And to take a break from the bread, maybe you go with potatoes instead of the
Mhm.
bread for your carbs.
Hmm.
But you can make a potato chicken sandwich or a steak sandwich. I don't know. Just I also like to do rice. So
Yeah.
keys for meal prep and me are what are things that you can make relatively easily in large quantities in a
Mhm.
relatively short period of time. Rice is another great meal prep. Tons of calories that you can make very quickly, especially if you have a rice cooker or an Instapot. Instapot is literally 3 minutes of cook time and 10 minutes of rest before you depressurize, and you can make a vat of rice that'll last a week. Same with that chicken breast. Buy what is that? 4-pound?
Yeah. Get a lot in
I
there.
think it's a 4-pound pack of chicken breast. It's $2.99 a pound, and that'll last probably for yourself, probably 5 days, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Steak is a little bit, is pretty similar, but a little bit more expensive usually. But I go with the leanest cut I can get. I usually don't marinate it, just cook it, have it ready to go. And then breakfast, if you're trying to meal prep, I'd go with hard-boiled eggs,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just slice those up and put them on your
Yeah, we were just when we
sandwich.
were just in Hawaii, instead of like scrambling eggs for sandwiches, they just hard boiled eggs and then smushed them, and it
Yep.
was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with avocado
Yeah.
and whatever else you want to put on it.
tomato. Yeah.
At 5'9", 338, 39% body fat specifically, you could go with this strategy. I think it would be good, but I think there's probably some lower hanging fruit that you want to start with. And the first thing I would do is audit all of your liquid calories and all of your
Snacks.
snacks and things that don't fit within the meals we were just describing. Could be snacks, it could be condiments, it could be sauces, it could be sugary drinks, it could be there's something going on there where you have excessive calories, probably not coming from your protein, carbs, fat, although it could be something relatively high fat, adding a lot of calories. But I would start with trying to figure out how to get consistent lean protein, carbs, and fat organized in your day in those 4 meals we were just describing. And then you can start tweaking based on what you enjoy or what the scale is doing. But I think you'd get pretty noticeable week over week changes if you can be consistent. And this is actually something I've been thinking about lately that I think people struggle with on the nutrition side is that we talk a lot about consistency is king for training. We don't so much on the nutrition side. And it's unfortunately one of the simple, hard, and effective truths for nutrition is that if you can be consistent with what you're eating day to day, you are going to get better results.
Well, if you're trying to feel and look different from how you do now, it's because you were consistent in a certain way.
Right.
And that consistency led to the current situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to create a new consistency.
Right. Yep. And meal prep is a great way to do that. If you need variety or you need some ideas, you could go a couple of different ways. Hire a coach, certainly can help. Or honestly, this is one area where I think ChatGPT can help a lot, or whatever your preferred LLM is. You go in and you say, hey, this is my situation. Can you come up with a structured eating plan? And they're not bad right now.
Yeah.
They're not bad. They can even create a shopping list for you.
Yeah.
But again, just like with the programming side, your results may vary, your mileage may vary.
You have to do it.
And if you need some help, give us a call.
All right, this one comes in from YouTube. As a woman who likes to lift, I appreciate this simple and classic advice. Awesome. What can I do with my squats and deadlifts and other exercises if I cannot go heavier because of my joints, but I want to continue to get stronger and maintain muscle? So I'm wondering if this is arthritis or overuse. Maybe there's some tendonitis. Without having a lot, I wouldn't want more information to provide a more precise answer. I wonder if your form is being monitored by a coach, because your form and your program could potentially require some adjustments to address joint pain. But if that's pretty dialed in, then as we've spoken about on other episodes, is maybe moving into some things that you would consider accessory exercises instead of squatting and deadlifting heavier every single session. That might mean some isolations like leg curls, leg extensions, some weighted back extensions that might allow you to move around joints that are particularly painful or inflamed. I would also look into tempo movements. Those can actually maybe not feel wonderful in the moment, but usually after, or even by like the halfway through the set, things start to feel better. I do that with a lot of my clients, like tempo bench press, tempo work for the shoulders, tempo chin-ups with a band. Those feel so good, weirdly. Yeah, they feel so nice on the shoulders. So I would mess around with tempo and then look into some accessory machine-supported options that allow you to still progress the weight, change the rep scheme to drive progressive overload, but allow you some flexibility to work around what might be inflamed or painful at any given time.
Yeah, it depends a lot on the circumstances. I would agree. Would need to know more information. I know my mom, for example, just went through knee surgery, but before that was bone on bone.
Yeah, there's a limit
on her knee, and it was just there were certain ranges of motion and things that weren't super comfortable.
Yeah.
And so, if weight isn't a variable you can change, then the only variables that you have left are either volume, which is one option that may work, may not feel good either. That's the problem with joints, is sometimes volume feels worse, and often more weight feels better, but vice versa. If you can't add weight, if there's like a certain weight above which the joints start getting irritated, then I would try either adding volume or, to your point, find a variation that you can either continue to load or that doesn't irritate the joint, and maybe try loading that one.
Yeah, there are options for you.
All right, Nikki, what's the best way to explain to someone why barbells are the best for gaining weight in a healthy manner?
Well, certainly drop into every comment that you can on their Instagram, provide much unsolicited advice, tell them about how it's worked for you.
You wrote an article about this years ago to some extent. The boyfriend problem?
Oh, the boyfriend problem is that's kind of
A little bit of a different
yeah.
problem.
But I would start with saying hopefully they're asking you for advice and you're not just being a zealot looking for any opportunity. Um, barbells are the best for gaining weight in a healthy manner. Well, barbells aren't going to make you gain weight necessarily. I'm going to be really annoying with this answer
Mm-mm.
and kind of pick this apart. But the way that you eat and the way that you progressively overload is what will encourage muscle, and muscle gain is what I think you're after here. So you can gain weight by eating salty foods and having a lot of retained water. You can gain weight by adding body fat with a caloric surplus over time. You can gain weight with eating in a caloric surplus and training in a simple, hard, effective way. And in that case, you're adding muscle and likely some body fat. But if you're eating and not training in a way that is challenging for your muscles, you are only just going to gain body fat and water weight. So barbell training allows you to gain muscle effectively, and I know we've talked about this a few times before, because you can train really large muscle groups in a way that's very effective and allows you to progress at a rate that you can adapt from. So if you're underweight, meaning like you want to add mass, you need to go at a rate that you can recover from. And if you go too heavy too soon, or if you start on something with like a machine based program, you're either going to be doing too much and you're not going to be eating enough to build, or you're not going to be doing anything that's effective and just kind of might even just be killing yourself with volume if you do like a machine based program with like 8 to 15 reps and are hardly getting anywhere. So it's really about putting yourself in a little bit of a caloric surplus and then training with a program that is simple, hard, and effective. You were looking at me like I'm a lunatic.
Well,
what are you thinking?
I think you're giving a very detailed, comprehensive example, but we're trying to answer the question here. What's the best way to explain to somebody why barbells are the best for gaining weight in a healthy manner? We got to keep this. We got to give this guy the weapons to go convince the next person to go start lifting.
Okay.
They're not going to be able. He can't translate that. But you did say what I would say multiple times. It's simple, it's hard, and it's effective. Period. End story. We want to go use barbells because they're simple. You got one bar and a bunch of weight. You load that up and you do 3 or 4 exercises. Simple. It's hard, which we know it has to be in order to gain muscle mass, which is what I think is healthy, or what he's implying is healthy. And it's effective. It works. We show up, we do 3 or 4 exercises with barbells, add a little bit of weight, and you will gain weight if you're eating in a caloric surplus. I would agree.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say is the best way to explain,
Mm-hmm.
as we've talked about many times. Just keep it simple, make it hard, and it'll be effective.
Mm-hmm. And you may not need to eat a sheet cake or drink a gallon of milk all the time.
Probably not.
All right. Oh, here we go from Seth. I've been thinking getting a pair of the TYR lifters. However, the heel is 0.83, and I keep seeing that having more than 0.5 inch raise is bad. Doesn't matter.
Mm.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Whenever someone asks me for a shoe recommendation, I always do stock the shoe to see what the heel height is, because that's going to play a role in your knee angle and your hip angle in the squat, and similar in the deadlift. Is it might it'll close your knee joint a bit more because it effectively lengthens your shin. However, I go back and forth on if it's a bad thing or not. I typically, again, I'm getting this look that I'm like I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm usually the wordy one, and I feel like now we've changed roles today. What's your straight answer there. Like, is 0.83 bad?
If you're going to wear it for deadlifts, I'd say it's too much.
Okay. Yeah.
Get them for squats, wear a flat shoe for deadlifts.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Right. Like some people just are built better to be on a flat shoe.
Yes.
And
I've
some-
had myself and other clients who end up with hip pain, and their hip pain goes away when we put them in flats.
Or vice versa. I've had somebody have
Yeah.
like poor ankle mobility.
Yes.
Put them in a bigger, more heel, and they're able to get depth.
Yeah.
So, it's going to come down to your anthropometry.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people that swear by totally flat shoes.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to be more the shorter femur folk
Mm-hmm.
that are able to get to depth a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally recommend if you can get at least 3/4 of an inch, because I find the 1/2 inch is sort of like this weird in between that you get a little bit of benefit, but not as much. So I would say 0.83, depending on your anthropometry, might even be better for squats than a 1/2 inch.
Totally.
But I would agree, more heel usually makes it more challenging for the deadlift.
Yeah, I don't like to see a lot of heel on the deadlift.
I mean, it just depends on how you want to train, and like if you're trying to go all out 1RM, I don't think the heel is helpful. Training in heels, I actually like training in heels, like higher volume stuff. So I just think it makes the pull off the floor a little bit more difficult, and then when you do take the heels off, you feel like you're in this amazing start position.
After you do that first rep where it feels like you're going to fall backwards. I see that every time.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not-
Someone goes from shoes to flats, and the first
Yeah.
rep of their set is always them tipping backwards.
So I would say no. I don't think 0.83 is inherently a bad thing. You're gonna have to try it and see how it feels. But I guess I would be curious what shoes they have right now. Seth, if you have a shoe that you're using, let us know. And
I've been hearing good things about the TYR lifters, especially for people with wider feet.
yeah,
Yeah, that's important.
cool.
Yeah.
Got another one?
No. Oh, we do have one. Sorry. Doot. Let's pick one that we want to answer.
Oh, I would like to hear your answer to this one. Group versus one-on-one?
Ooh, yeah. Okay. So I've seen group coaching advertised. What is the difference between group coaching versus one-on-one coaching? So we did launch recently for Barbell Logic Online Coaching a group option, kind of a team training focus. And with that one, first off, it's not as expensive. It's less expensive, or it's a lower price than the one-on-one coaching that we offer. It's a group program that is guided by a shared focus. So we have options for moms. We have group for people who have like limited garage gym equipment. And you're still working on a shared goal, or you all have the same goal in common, and that's important because that's what drives the program. And each one has like a set of constraints that they're working in. But the coolest thing is now you're in a group of, we'd like to keep it around 8 lifters. So you have this team, you're all doing the same program together, and you get to talk about, the same workout that you just did. But there's still an option for making the program customized to you when you need to, because it's led by one of our coaches. So each group is led by a coach who also do one-on-one coaching, but you can make little tweaks, like if your shoulder doesn't allow you to do a specific lift, your coach will tell you what to change that to. So it's more like if you still need accountability, but you want to have that team vibe, you still need some direction, and you still need someone to tell you what to do, but one-on-one coaching is not the right financial decision for you, then group coaching would be a really great place to, find your tribe of lifters and you're all working on something. The program advances over time together. So if you have 8 of you and you find that, now we really want to work towards this goal, great, you get to work on it together. And so it feels like you're really part of a team in this in your journey, but you still have accountability and you still have a coach leading the way.
And you're still getting feedback
You still get
from a
feedback
coach.
once a week from a coach. Yeah. The one-on-one coaching is completely unique to you. Like this is your coach is your guide, and it's based on your equipment that you have, your struggles, what's important to you, and we make that completely individualized and personalized for you. So, feeling better in your skin, feeling strong, learning how to lift safely. Like if you're afraid to go to the gym, you don't have to go to the gym. Your coach will tell you what to do so you can avoid that entirely or work towards going there. I just started working with someone new who she told me on our first call, she's like, I hate going to the gym, but I know I really need to get stronger.
Mhm.
And so our goal, like I looked on her gym websites, I know what her equipment looks like. We're working her towards using the squat racks, getting more and more confident there. But right now we're getting consistent using the equipment that she's comfortable with
Mhm.
and getting onto the platform and getting under the barbell gradually. So if you have something that's really, this big hurdle that you're trying to overcome and you need someone to help you do that, like one-on-one coaching would be perfect. Yeah. Anything to add there?
No, I think I nailed it.
Awesome. I'm curious about this one from you. What's an example of coaching you've received that's not strength or nutrition coaching that's made a positive impact on your life? Have you gotten
Oh,
coaching in something
geez,
else?
tons.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I mean, I've had business coaches. I had coaches in the military.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chris Reynolds has been
Yeah.
my a
Our
coach
CTO.
for years now on software development.
Mm-hmm.
Was an example of coaching. Um, I would say the one that maybe had one of the most powerful impacts in my life was a coach. It was more of a career coach,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think any coaching is useful, as I talked about at the beginning, in helping do a couple of things, three things really. I would say help get clarity on your current circumstance, like kind of help you map your current state without being
Even
clouded.
just having that conversation is so helpful because there might be some things that you never knew
Could be
were blind
blind
spots.
spots.
Yeah.
Um, they could be. So I see blind spots are weaknesses that you don't even recognize. You don't
Mm-hmm.
even see them. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody helps you see them, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I can't believe I don't even realize I'm doing that. Then it goes from blind spot to weakness or opportunity for improvement if you want to be more positively spun. And that's where it's like, okay, I've got this behavior pattern or whatever such thing that's happening that it's no longer a blind spot because I see it, but I keep doing
Yeah.
it. And so that's where a coach can be helpful in once you see it and you're trying to now improve it is give you tools or ways of modifying the behavior or improving the performance or whatever it is that you're working on. And then the third thing is help build a map towards where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of like the process. Any continuous improvement process is going to be some combination of mapping the current state, mapping a future state, and then building an
Mm-hmm.
action plan to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I had a very specific example. Funny enough, ended in me quitting the job that I was working at. And I always wondered in hindsight whether that was the purpose or not. Like it was,
Interesting.
I had a pretty, executive level role, and there was this skip level survey that was done of my team, and I think the feedback got back that there might be some problems, or at least I
Interesting.
think this is just my woo woo theory is that they were picking up on there being some sort of mismatch, and I think it was ultimately that I was just in the wrong job.
Mm-hmm.
Without going into details, they ended up assigning me a coach, basically. And it was a career development coach. And it was really good. Like, it was, these interviews and 360 feedback where my boss was getting interviewed, my peers were getting interviewed, my employees were interviewed, and I was getting all this feedback. And it
Yeah.
was just like,
Oh my gosh.
it was almost overload. But the coach is there to, just like with your life and your, strength training program, sift through the noise, reflect on what's useful, what's not. Because surveys, especially this kind of a thing, like some people just tear you a
They
new
just
one.
couldn't wait to. Yeah.
And then same with the positive stuff too. You don't know whether the positive is just blowing smoke.
Yeah.
So a coach can help you again understand your current state, work with you to translate what you want, what you think you want, into a future state that is in some sort of a reasonable time frame to work towards, and then build an action plan to get there. And out of that coaching, one of the things that became clear to me was that I was not spending enough time actively building relationships with people outside of my immediate work environment. The people in my local site that I worked with day to day, I had really good relationships with. But there were people that I needed to have good relationships with that I didn't, that I predominantly interacted with over email, occasional phone calls, and those relationships weren't as good. At least this is kind of how I translated that. Interestingly, instead of me taking that feedback and investing that into building more relationships with the job that I had at the time, I thought and this was not totally conscious at the time, but I was like, you know what? I think I need to be networking more with my barbell community. So I went to more events. I made an effort, actually. I met with you.
Yeah. This is many years ago.
I just happened to be kind of in this vicinity and was like, well, let's just meet
go
up
have
and
a burger.
chat. Let's
Yeah.
go have a burger. It's arguably why I am, my whole life changed, because it was the year before that or in 2016, that was the year I was getting the coaching. And I went to the conference where I met Matt, or at least met him a second time that he actually remembered. 7 years after I actually met him. And then kicked off, obviously, the whole thing. That's why I think he called me the next year. And so, it may have not been the outcome that my employers
I wonder.
wanted out of the situation, but that to me was an example of coaching outside of strength training or nutrition that completely changed my life for the better. And the pattern is the same. Understand the current state, map out where you want to go, and build an action plan to get there. And having somebody, like we talked about, that's a guide who has experience and has seen these things again, because nothing is happening for the first time ever. There's so many patterns that are constantly happening, and there's people out there that have seen it. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do if you don't have a coach or a mentor or people that you trust to give you that outside perspective. It's really hard to see those things, where you are, where you want to go, and how to get there. And there are people out there that have done it hundreds of times in all different kinds of scenarios and contexts, where they can pick and choose the best from each of those experiences and help you navigate yours. Yours is not, there's going to be uniqueness in your scenario, in your context, but a lot of patterns where you can benefit from other people having gone through it and accelerate you through that process. So it's like, I may have gotten there eventually, but it would have been really painful. I would have made a ton of mistakes, and it probably would have taken me 10 years or something instead of a year later.
That's pretty neat. Well, I'm glad that happened.
Me too.
Love it. Seth has been looking.
No shoes. Oh, man. Yeah.
Yep, get those shoes.
Get them.
Yep.
I would say get something with at least 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah, so those TR ones are good. TYR ones are good ones. All
It's
right.
one of the few cases where 3/4 of an inch is more than enough.
Let it be known. Well, thank you if you tuned in. If you've made it this far, you're probably interested in the discount code, which is what you can use when you go to checkout at barbellogic.com. Thank you. Thank you for that. Didn't realize this was in my neck. If you go to barbellogic.com and you sign up for coaching, use the discount code LIVE for free. That's LIVE, the number 4 FREE, and you'll actually get a free month, which is a pretty sweet deal because that's up to a $315 value. Check it out. Thanks for joining us here. Again, that discount code is LIVE for free.
Definitely not live for free.
Yeah.
It's live for free.
I put it, when I was reading it, I was like, is it live or live? And I was like, oh no, it's because it's a live feed, so it must be live. Nothing's free.
I think we should do a live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, lift, laugh, love. Okay. That's our cue.
We're done.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.